Cams, 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 and more cams. The camshaft is there to control your engine breathing, aka your gas dynamics if you want to get scientific. It's going to be made from nodular cast iron. Sometimes it will be induction hardened or nitrided to make this surface harder, therefore more resistant to scratching and wearing. It must be perfectly timed at the gear up here, otherwise you're going to have catastrophic engine damage, or if you're lucky, just poor performance and maybe some fault codes. So this one again is an overhead cam because the cam is over the head. It's an overhead cam, therefore there's no push tubes. You've got 3 rockers per cylinder here. You've got your intake, your injector, and your exhaust. The injector roller that you can see there is going to be wider than your exhaust or your intake because it has a lot more pressure. If you're using a unit injector, you're really multiplying that injection pressure in there. There's a lot more force. You need to spread it out over more surface area. This would be a single overhead cam because you've got intake, injector, and exhaust all in one cam here. There is no exhaust brake on this engine. If you had a dual overhead cam, you could either have a setup like a DD does, where one cam is your intake and the other cam is your exhaust and your exhaust brake, both cam driven. Or it could be like an ISX, where you've got one cam for valves, similar to this one, and the other cam is only for your injectors and your exhaust brake. So this lobe wouldn't be here. There'd be another shaft down this side with 2 lobes per cylinder, one for your exhaust brake and one for your injector. We got some more cams on the counter here. This one in the back is out of a Cummins. Every cam will have cam journals. That's where the cam rides on its bearings or bushings. This one actually has 2 journals for every support. So if you look the whole length of that cam, you've got 2 up front, then you've got your first cylinder, intake, injector, exhaust, then you've got your next journal, intake, injector, exhaust, next journal, intake, injector, exhaust, next one. So you can know how many cylinders this engine is based off of just that cam. How many cylinders would it be? Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Next cam here is out of an International DT466, an old mechanical engine. There's way less going on there, right? It's a medium duty engine, so you don't have any kind of exhaust brake or any kind of compression brake, I should say, that is driven by a cam. Therefore, it's much more like a 12 valve Cummins. You got 2 lobes per cylinder. There's your journal. 2 lobes, journal. So much less support on this cam, right? But there's no injector lobes, so there's much less pressure on that cam as well. And last but not least, we got this cute little guy here. A couple of smaller lobes, bigger one in the middle. Bigger one would be for the injector, right? Because there's the most pressure on that lobe. You can see this lobe here actually has some damage to it. So cams can be in block, often called a push rod engine, overhead, or dual overhead.